everyone, and welcome back to our English lesson for today. So we are going to carry on with our learning all about the book, The Gruffalo. Now I wonder if you can remember, what are we learning to do with our story, The Gruffalo? What are we going to do? Have a think, see if you can tell the screen what you think we're going to do. Try and listen. Hopefully you have just said that we are going to retell the story of the Gruffalo, and we're going to retell it using all of the things we have learned so far this year at school and on our online learning. So pause the video in a second. Can you remember the things that we looked for in the Gruffalo story yesterday? What did we look for? Pause the video and see if you can remember them. So I think we looked for some expanded noun phrases. We looked for some statements, some questions, some exclamations, and some commands. And we found that Julia Donaldson had used all of those in her story, which was great because it proves that everything that we've been learning, authors use too to write their stories. So I'm going to share with you my screen now, and we can see what we're going to learn today. So we're going to carry on from yesterday. So we've got the same learning objective, to remember different literary devices. So we want to be able to recall the different literary devices. We want to be able to identify where they've been used in a text. And we need to be able to write an example for each of them. So we did that yesterday, and we're going to do the same today, but with some different literary devices. And do you remember, that's just fancy pants words for things that we've learnt so far for our writing to make it better. So, first thing we're going to look at today is coordinating conjunctions. Now, we learnt those when we were doing our On the Way Home experience with the book by Jill Murphy. Do you remember? Look at my bad knee, said Claire. So, can you pause the video and watch this YouTube link to remind yourself what a conjunction is? Off you go. Do you remember now? Oh, thank goodness. So we had coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions, didn't we? And this video will have reminded you that our coordinating conjunctions that we learnt were and, but, and so. And those three words are used to join two clauses together to make our sentence more exciting by adding extra information. Super. So what were subordinating conjunctions then? Can you watch this video? You don't need to do any of the tasks on the page, just the video, to remind yourself what subordinating conjunctions are. Pause this video now and off you go. Well done. Hopefully you realise that subordinating conjunctions, the ones that we learnt, were that, if, when, and because. And they can be used at the beginning of a sentence or in the middle of a sentence. And they join the main clause with a subordinating clause. And we tell the difference because the subordinating clause doesn't make sense. It needs the main clause and the subordinating conjunction so that it does. Super. So, shall we have a look then in our Gruffalo story? Has Julia Donaldson used any conjunctions in her story? Let's have a look. So let's look at the first page again. A mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark wood. A fox saw the mouse and the mouse looked good. Pause the video. Can you see in those two lines? Has Julia Donaldson used a conjunction? I'll read it one more time. A mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark wood. A fox saw the mouse and the mouse looked good. Pause the video. Can you see it? I wonder if you found it. Did you find it? I think I did in this second line. A fox saw the mouse and the mouse looked good. Did you find that one? Did you get that example the same as me? I hope you did. So look, I wrote it in my journal. The fox saw the mouse and the mouse looked good. Can you see I've coloured in my word and to remind me that that is a conjunction. It joins the two clauses together to add more information. So I wonder now, so you don't need to write that one down, that's my one, and that's one that we found together. Can you have a look through the rest of the story and can you write down another example of where Julia Donaldson has used a conjunction? So it can be and, but, so, or it could be when, if, that, or because. So journal alert, pause the video now and write another one down, please. Off you go. Brilliant. So let's have a look at one more device that we have done. So we can see here that we learnt about apostrophes, didn't we? So let's watch this little video all about apostrophes to see if we can remind ourselves what an apostrophe is. I've not done this before, so let's see if it works.
Apostrophes for contraction. An apostrophe can be used to show that letters are missed out of a word. This is called a contraction. Let's take this alien. He can't find his keys. He isn't sure where he left them.
Making two words and making them shorter,
there,
isn't he?
over there. He's found them. Contractions are often used in less formal situations. Apostrophes for possession. An apostrophe can show ownership or possession. This is called a possessive apostrophe. Possessive apostrophes show that something belongs to or is for someone or something. The alien's keys were on the floor. The keys were for the alien's new car. Apostrophes for its. It's it.
Right, we're going to pause the video there. So, do you remember there were two reasons for using an apostrophe? For a contraction, when there's two words joined together to make one word, you use the apostrophe for those missing letters. Or to show possession, if something belongs to someone. So, Mrs. Clark's new sofa would need an apostrophe to show that it belongs to me. Super, right. Shall we see if we can look together for some apostrophes in the Gruffalo? So let me have a look. I am going to have a look at our first page again, I think. So have a look here. So come and have lunch in my underground house. It's terribly kind of you, Fox, but no, I'm going to have lunch with a Gruffalo. So have a look and start reading from here one more time. Come and have lunch in my underground house. It's terribly kind of you, Fox, but no, I'm going to have lunch with a Gruffalo. Pause the video. Can you see? Has Julia Donaldson used any apostrophes? And if she has, are they for contraction or for possession? Off you go. Right, what did you find? I think I found two here. Look, it's short for it is, and I'm short for I am. So they are both examples of contracted forms of the apostrophe. So let's see, whilst you were figuring all that out, I've written that down in my journal. Look, apostrophes. There's my example. It's terribly kind of you, Fox, but no. And I put a little arrow to the apostrophe, and I've said, because I'm super clever, that it's the contracted form, and I have even put that it's is short for it is, to show I've really got a good understanding. So could you now go and have a look through the rest of the story? And could you find another example and then write that in your book? That would be brilliant. Pause the video, off you go. Right, last thing we learnt about so far is commas. What did we learn that commas were used for? Let's play this video and watch it together to remind ourselves.
Whenever I write a list, I know that I must use this to separate what exists. What is it? Say it loud, do it now. It's a comma. Whenever I write a list, I know that I must use this to separate what exists. What is it? Say it loud, do it now. It's a comma.
Let's start, stop, comma, left foot, comma, right foot, comma, crisscross, comma, jump back, comma, hands up, comma, turn around and finish how you wanna go again. Stop, comma, left foot, comma, right foot, comma, crisscross, comma, jump back, comma, hands up, comma, turn around and finish how you wanna go again.
Whenever I write a list, I know that I must use this to separate what exists. What is it? Say it loud, do it now. It's a comma.
Oh, what a catchy jingle. So do you remember we were using our commas to write lists, weren't we? So after every item in our list, we would use a comma, except for, I hear you say, the last two items, where we would use the word and. Fantastic. So let's see then. I wonder, do you think Julia Donaldson has used any commas in lists to make her story so brilliant? Let's turn over to the next page and have a look, shall we? So, he has terrible tusks, terrible claws, and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws. Where are you meeting him? Here by these rocks, and his favourite food is roasted fox. Let's read that first bit one more time. He has terrible tusks, terrible claws, and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws. Can you see anywhere on that page where there have been some commas used for a list? Pause the video and have a further think if you need to. I think I spotted it. This bit here where Julia Donaldson is listing all the features of the Gruffalo. He has terrible tusks, comma, and terrible claws, comma, and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws. Wow, well done, Julia Donaldson. No wonder everybody loves your story, because you have used commas in a list to make it fantastic as well. So look, I wrote mine in my journal. He has terrible tusks, terrible claws, and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws. I wonder now, so you don't need to write our example, can you go and find another example of a list using commas in the Gruffalo? Read through the rest of the story and then write one down in your book. Pause the video, off you go. Right, lastly then, let's have a think. We have now recapped all of the things we've learnt so far this year in our writing. So we can use them in our new writing all about the Gruffalo. So, can you reflect for me on what you have learnt from today's lesson and last lesson? It might be that you haven't learnt anything new because we've done it before, but you might have had some things jogged in your memory that you had forgotten. And how are you going to use those things to help you to write your retelling of the Gruffalo? And resilience. Have you had to show any resilience today? And if you have, how are you going to use that to help you to either write your retelling of the Gruffalo or to do something else in your wider life? Fantastic. That is your last task for today. So well done, everybody. A fantastic job at recapping everything we've learned so far this year. And isn't it amazing that Julia Donaldson has used all of the different literary devices that we have learnt this year? Just goes to show we're pretty much ready to be authors now. We can write our own Gruffalo. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you all soon. Bye.